Renard. Renard.
What's going on, my people? Welcome to the Sn95 Power channel. So I'm out here and I'm playing around with the tune in my car, and I just want to take this moment to talk about why I'm not going to upgrade to a Holley. Now, if you've been keeping up with the videos, I've been working with my tuner, Decipher at EFI Dyno Tuning, because beginning of this season, I was chasing this problem where the headers was glowing red, and coming to find out, it was the intake spacer had cracked. Ever since I replaced the intake spacer, no glowing headers, that issue has been resolved. And actually my, which makes sense, the idle vacuum has increased on the car. Now, this whole process of all that happening, he's been throwing me some tunes back and forth. And the last tune that he sent me was kind of like a kill tune, where we just threw a bunch of timing at it and more fuel at it. Because at that time we were kind of thinking that the car was, the timing was retarded too much. So by throwing a bunch of timing at it, we were trying to compensate for that. But took the car out after I had fixed the intake spacer. No glowing header.
That's a sweet spot right there. That spring set at 6.
And the car ran great, you know. I haven't did anything to that tune. I didn't remove the timing or anything like that, because I'm just so happy how the car responded to the timing. Now with E85, the good thing about E85 is you're able to throw a lot of timing, relatively a lot of timing at it, as opposed to like 93 octane. So the car took the timing, it took the extra fuel, and everything was great. The problem was my idle was too high. So the car just sitting, the idle was anywhere from like 1050 RPMs to like 970-ish. And you know, if you have a cam, and especially with these cars, if you have a cam, you want that thump sound. And you're not gonna get that thump sound with the car idling at close to 1,000 RPM. So ideally, you know, when this car sounded the best, the RPM was kind of around 700 RPM. So that's what I've been doing out here today in the garage, is I've been trying to get that idle down to 700 RPM. So there's a couple ways to tune your car. You know, I'm not talking about the old school way. Actually, there's more than a couple of ways to tune your car. But we're not talking about the old school way of locking out the timing and, you know, setting your dizzy at a certain timing mark. We're not talking about that. We're talking about using the modern technology of computers. And, you know, unfortunately, we lost one way to tune your Sn95 Mustang is by the quarter horse chip. Now, the company Quarter Horse, I believe this was this year or last year, they made an announcement that they will not be making any more quarter horse chips. So if you can find one, go ahead and cop that up, because your other alternatives are a SE. There are other chips out here, but the cool thing about what the Quarter Horse is, you're able to tune in real time. Like with some of the other piggyback chips, you got to make some changes, data log, record that, see what's wrong, come back to the computer, make some changes, go back, make some change, that whole process. With the quarter horse, you're able to do all that in real time. So I can plug the quarter, losing my voice, y'all. So what I was saying is the cool thing about the quarter horse is it just allows you to make changes real time. So as I'm driving the car, I can make changes. Now there are other systems that allow you to do that. Mega Squirt, Holley, those are pretty much the two most popular ones. And at one point in time, I was talking about going to a Holley system. Just because, to be honest with y'all, like Decipher at EFI Dyno Tunings, my man, can take a long time to get back to you. I think I talked to you about that in another video, or I might have brought it up, but it can be times where he can ghost you for about a month. As great as he is, I mean, the downside is it's just one man, and he has this membership program where if you're a member for life, so you get free tuning support. So when you're working with him, you just have to self-learn some of this stuff. Unfortunately for me, I know enough to break the car. So I've been out here playing with the settings, and let me just walk you kind of through real quick of what I did. So if you never had any experience with tuning software with Sn95 Mustang, this is a software called Tuner Pro RT. Now, if you have a quarter horse, there's a couple of different software programs that you can use. Tuner Pro RT is one. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the other one. I don't know if I have it on here or not. I don't. You guys know what I'm talking about. Leave the name of that down in the comment section. Binary Editor. Yeah, there you go. I used to use Binary Editor, and I did pay, I forget how much it is to get the full version of Binary Editor. It's a real simple software. Tuner Pro is free. Only thing you have to do is register. And when you get in here, the cool thing about the EFI Dyno Tuning website, it has instructions on how to configure this software to communicate with your quarter horse. But it's real simple. Once you get that step done, you just, connect your PC to your quarter horse hardware. You start the communication. You open up your digital dash. Or, you can record also. But for me, this is the biggest difference between, say, like a Holley. I haven't had any hands-on with any of the other software, but like these tables and functions for the Ford ECU is overwhelming. So for me, I needed to make tunings with the ISC. That's really going to control my ramp rate of my RPM. And if you just look at all this stuff that's connected to IAC, and I'm sure there's more than this. And if you open up these tables, there's just like tables galore that you can change. Functions, there's functions galore that you can change. With the idle hanging up so much, my dash pot was just a little bit too high. So only thing I did was just change the ISC airflow for neutral. And if the car was kind of what they call it, cruise control, like as you are driving and then you come to the stop, you hit your brakes and your car tries to keep pulling forward, I would have changed, played around with this ISC airflow and drive. Just a couple of things that I know to cure those kind of conditions. So another problem I was having, so I made the changes of the car clunk me up. I made the changes to get the RPM where I want it, but when I put the car in drive, it will clunk out. Well, on the automatic transmissions, there's a function for that. I don't, 37.1, yeah, look at that memory. Right here. So this is just like a fuel multiplier or an adder. So as the car engages, you can add more fuel or take fuel out of it as an engage. You can do that with Spark also. I played around with that. But like the big difference between the stock ECU and the Holley, like I don't speak Holley very well, but you know, if I want to make change to the fuel, that's like, this is pretty much it. If I wanted to maybe get the IAC dialed in, you know, this is it right here. You know, it's not like these 9,000 tables that I got to go through. I think that's why a lot of people are switching over to Holley, and guys can get their car running without having to pay somebody to tune it. Now I know everybody's talking about this self-learning function with Holley. It's sort of like that. You still have to tell it what to do. So it's just not like you can get a Holley, put in one of these canned tunes, because some of these canned tunes are just like super whack and will get you in trouble. You can do that, but it can get you in trouble. So you kind of do have to tell the Holley what you would want it to do, the same way you would tell the stock ECU what you want it to do. Like, this is a self-learning system. Just a lot of people don't think about that. Like, if you tell the car to command this much fuel, it's going, once it gets into closed loop, it's going to try to adjust based off of your Hugos to get your air fuel to that number. So it's basically almost doing the same thing like the Holley's doing. But you know, in my untrained knowledge of all this, you know, it doesn't seem much difference as what I need it for. Like, I'm sure there's guys who have like all-out race cars who use the Holleys, who is fully capability, which I think the majority of us will never do that. Like, majority of us is just going to mess with Spark, idle, and IAC controls, and that's pretty much it. And I can do all that with this stock ECU, but as you can see, the difference of parameters that I have to deal with is way different than the Holley. It's really like three things, like fuel, Spark, and IAC. Like, honestly, if you really want to get your car up and running as far as tuning standpoint, that's really all you have to mess with. And even within these functions, it's really only a couple of these that you really have to mess with. So don't get me wrong, I like this Holley. I've been using it to try to help my guy Coop Frostbite with his turbo small block Ford, getting that running, and it's been very fun using this Holley system. But now that I have this car idling and engaging, and at least in the garage, it's kind of running smooth. So let's start this up, take it for a test drive, and see how my changes affected the car. And I think if everything is good, then I'm going to take the Holley off. I can't say that yet. Like, let's just take the car out, see how it feels, and we'll continue this discussion there. But before I go, I need y'all to give this video as many thumbs up as possible. So the way the YouTube algorithm works, the more interactions the community have with me with these videos, the more they will promote this video for other people to see. So if y'all could do me a solid, leave a comment down below or hit the like button. Preferably do both. I would appreciate that. But hey, if you don't want to do that, and as long as you just want to watch this video and tell a couple of people about this channel, I will appreciate that just as much. So I want to log this. So first thing I'm going to do is connect the USB. I'm going to start communicating. I'm going to record, and then I'm going to pull up my gauges. So I'm happy that since I got this thing finally tuned, I've got the pretty much highest vacuum this car has seen since I first built it. Like 12 inches of mercury once it warms up, so I'm real happy with that. This is just my dash. Basically what the ECU is commanding, what it's getting, coolant temperature right now. It's in open loop. So just all basic stuff. You see, it's not completely cold. The car, I've been playing with it, so that's why the fueling is a little bit leaner right now. Normally on a cold start, you dump a lot more fuel. I did have to play around with the mass air curve, because when I closed the throttle stop, you know, it kind of threw off the air to fuel ratio, so it was getting a lot more fuel than air for this throttle position and at this mass air voltage. So I had to take a little fuel out of it. I'm not going to worry about dialing that in any more than what it is right here. So I'll let this car get up to temperature. I normally let this thing get up to like 180 before I start driving it. We'll do a quick drive and see how the car reacts. Just wanted to do like a little drivability test. And from everything that's going on right now, the car is idling perfect. Like the dash pot is on point. Just need to make sure when I come off throttle, there's no cruise control action going. Everything feels good. Comes to a stop. There's no bogging, there's no stuttering. These are like all the ride quality things that I'm looking for. Like I come off throttle, the car isn't still trying to pull. One thing I don't like is as the RPM ramps down, the car goes rich. Like you have this thing called deceleration cutoff where it cuts the fuel injections off on deceleration. That's fine. But I don't know why I see this little peak. Car gets a little rich. But hey, let's talk about the dash to Holley. Now personally, yes, I have been back and forth on whether I want to do a Holley or not. And I think I'm at the point now where I'm not going to upgrade this car any further as far as performance parts. I'm not putting a new cam in here.
I do have to get a better mass airflow sensor, extended range. So if I do that, then that's going to redo my whole mass airflow transfer unit. But gosh man, I'm really trying to debate this Holley upgrade or not, because right now I really don't need it. This car is running perfect for its power level. It's driving an island like the car came from the factory with almost 600 horsepower. Look at that, perfect. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm a little timid getting on this car with it being so cold out here, and these summer tires. That's a recipe for disaster. I really just want to see with the small changes I made in the tune, how the car idles. Like when I'm coming to a stop, when I'm off throttle right here, is the car going to continue to pull? When I come to a complete stop, is the decay and idle going to ramp down nice and smooth? So far, all this stuff looks good. So idle hangs up and it drops. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to. I get to the stop sign. The car isn't like trying to bog out or die. I'm very happy with this. And I think for us 94, 95 guys, or even Foxbody guys, I think this is why people switch over to Holley. I think for the average person, I think this is why they switch over to Holley, because you install these cams, you do these modifications, and the ride quality is like crap. And with Holley having your tuner parameters are, you know, so small as opposed to the stock ECU, it's so easy for you to take it someplace and tune a Holley system as opposed to this 94, 95 strategy. Like I know a couple of guys who took their 94, 95 to some local tuners out here, and I was like, crap. So I don't know, I think at the time I might have decided for $400 or $500 for this email tune, and once you sign up at his website, everything is a lifetime subscription from there on. So this is like honestly the best investment I've done into this car. I paid this guy $400, $600 8 years ago, and I've been getting tuning support from him ever since. Now I'll be honest with you. Now I'll give you the good. That's the good. The bad part is he's a one-man show, and you kind of have to be a little self-sufficient with this stuff sometimes, or you can be stuck for sometimes up to 30 days without any support. I don't know if this is his full-time job. I don't know. I know at one point in time he was working on an oil rig, but you could be in a situation where he will be ghost. I say this last time was like the worst for like 30 days. And if you're solely dependent on him to get your car started, you can be in a situation where you're going to be waiting 30 days to get your car started. And by this being a lifetime subscription, everybody who signed up, who constantly tweaks their car every year like me, are getting support from him every year. So that's really the only bad part about this and him, is just the lack of immediate response. And it's not like, also, if you have a local tuner, you have a problem, you can go to him the same day and get same day service. So let's be real about that. Some of these local tuning shops out here, they hold your car hostage for just as long. So let's keep it real. You know, I've heard stories of guys' cars sitting for 3-4 months waiting to get tuned. So see how that dropped down like that? Perfect. No hanging idle. Decay rate is great. She's just dropping down the way she should. I love it. Honestly, like I said, I tweaked the tune a little bit. I'm still gonna send him the log and get his expert opinion on it. But only thing I don't like right now, like I said, is just the ramp down fueling. Like as the RPMs ramp down, I kind of see the car go rich. Everything else I'm looking at right here, she looks good. Yeah, so you know, if you want to do Holley, that's great. And sometimes if you're high up there in the horsepower range, like this processor just isn't good enough to support, you know, I think he told me Decipher, if I turn this car up to 22, 24 pounds of boost, 900 to the wheels, and that will kind of be almost at the limit of what this ECU can support. You get to that point, horsepower wise, and yeah, you're gonna have to switch over to a Holley. But for the 90% of you out here that are watching this, who have a 94, 95 Sn95, you might want to think about giving my man a chance. Because when you start adding all this Holley stuff together, it's not cheap. Is it worth it? Oh, it's definitely worth it. I mean, I personally enjoy playing with my friend's Greg's car, tuning his Holley. Gosh, man, this oil leak on that timing cover is killing me. I need to go ahead and take care of that. I gotta make that next video priority. But yeah, you know, tuning around with a speed density, Holley speed density, hey, it's fun, it's super easy. There's not 5 billion tables or functions to go find. For my tunability, for my tune experience, and for Greg's car setup, it's super easy. So if you don't have if you have a basic boat-on car, and I'm computing power hours with that, then yeah, man, Holley is a good way to go. But for $600, or it might be $400, I don't know what it is now, you could keep the factory ECU, and you can get it tuned to have better ride quality than the Holley. Now, the only thing that the downside of keeping this stock ECU is you have 20-plus-year-old wiring. And you know, my video where I tried to go to where I went to Foxbody, Motor City Fox Fest, that kind of bit me in the rear end because it had a short in the wiring. That's probably self-inflicted because that was after I moved did the wire tuck and moved a bunch of wires around, but nevertheless, there's a short someplace that water was, condensation was causing. So that's something I'm gonna have to address. But obviously if you go Holley, you don't have to worry about that being the issue. But if you have a modified Sn95, it doesn't matter if it's a new edge, the new processors. How's the wire quality if you have an aftermarket cam? I believe with the newer processors, you can throw a cam up in there to a certain duration and your computer won't get all cattywampus and you won't have idle issue qualities, but leave a comment down below and let me know what kind of modifications are done to your car, and are you happy with the drivability if it's not tuned? And even if it is tuned, are you happy with the drivability? It's an extremely long video, and if you made it to this point, hey, I appreciate you rocking with me through that whole video. But I just got some breaking news. I got something, you see the car is in the air. I got a huge revelation on what happened to this car, and I'm very thankful. You'll find out what I'm talking about. But subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, so when I drop this video talking about this revelation, you'll be one of the first ones to know. So I appreciate you rocking with me through this video, and until next time, God bless.